ASMR Magical Tools. Welcome back to your crystal scrying for the week ahead, which will begin August 23rd through the 29th. For the crystal scrying this week, I'm going to be using this very beautiful brown and yellow and a little bit purple fluoride point. I wanted to mention something, which is that I know some of you are using the information in these videos to plan your own spell work. I encourage you not just to watch these videos for your sun, moon, and rising placements, but also for any other transit information you might be curious about over the course of the week. And especially as it might relate to possible spell work. Remember too that everybody has every sign in their chart because of the houses. So if you have a question related to a particular house placement, you can watch that video as well. Aries, welcome back. This will be for Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, and any other Aries placements you are curious about for the week ahead. Aries, did you actually see it? Did it actually look like that? Or was it just something you imagined that it had become based on contextual information? I guess what I'm saying is, did you see it with your own eyes? Or did you infer it based on the clues provided without visual confirmation? I say this not because I doubt your probity, but rather that extra steps and extra checks will keep everything in line the way that you desire it to be moving forward in this particular path. You don't owe them an explanation per se. It's still perfectly acceptable for you to backtrack at this point and correct whatever might have been based in fallacy. But there's extra time involved for you if you have to do that. And it's not necessary. And if you would, direct your questions here into my book. I'm just going to tuck them in there. All right. If thou hast enough of earthly goods, therewith be content, and run no risks. Thank you for joining me, Aries. It's always a pleasure. If you enjoyed this reading, please let me know down in the comments. And I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Taurus, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Taurus, this will be for sun, moon, rising, and any other placements which you are curious about for the week ahead. I don't know if anybody has said this to you, but bright blue and aqua are not exactly the same color. They're not exactly the same. I, of course, am not arguing color semantics with anyone. To me, blue is blue, but this might be an opportunity to tweak your color theory. If you have a cold blue and a warm orange, those things are in opposition to each other on the color wheel, right? So that aqua ends up being a slightly different shade than bright blue, and perhaps has a little bit more yellow in it, which would tilt you toward a cool orange on the other side. Because of the citric acid, I find warm oranges to be a little bit caustic, and sometimes I feel like they might give me heartburn. But a cool orange or an aqua is very refreshing, very refreshing, very refreshing. Why am I belaboring this color theory with you today, Taurus? It might have to do with enzymes. Could have to do with enzyme function. I am, of course, not a doctor. But might also be related to ancestral DNA. That the gifts of your genetics can be brought out by some things and repressed by other things. And why do blues and oranges have something to do with this? It's these flashing colors. Some of you might be very sensitive to the way that colors look on opposite ends of the scale. So there's something called flashing colors, and these were used especially in the Golden Dawn to enhance meditative states through artwork, much like Todd was. Now, in this particular case, I think you are encouraged to use the truest colors, and that ancestrally this vibration is going to open up for you in a very profound way. And that perhaps there's also a warning there that a little extra care be given to choosing your pigments and not just doing so based on the colors you have on hand, but rather based on what the color needs to be. And of course, this could apply to meditative practice, but the theory behind it could be applied to other parts of your life as well. Alright, Taurus. I'm going to put your questions into my book. Let's see what we have here. The patient will recover, but let this illness be a warning in future to keep due guard over his health. Taurus, thank you so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this reading, please let me know down below, either like or comment, or both. And I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Gemini, 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 welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. This is for Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, and any other Gemini placements you might be curious about for the week ahead. Gemini, I think a pretty girl has given you something in good faith. And I don't know necessarily that it was her heart. I feel like this is a situation where she gave you a book, or perhaps the key to a diary, or a safe deposit box, or made you an emergency contact, that you are responsible in some way for something she has given you in good faith. And of course, this might be because she loves you. But the primary function here is the level of trust put into you, Gemini, that you take very good care of this particular item. She knows there is risk involved in your being entrusted with this item. It removes it from her responsibility to some extent, except that she is deeply reliant upon it for her overall success. The pound of faithfulness required. There's like this idea of there being a pound of faithfulness required in the situation, that you not necessarily be entirely faithful to this person, but rather that there is a certain amount of faithfulness required. And it extends from this situation. I'm having a little bit of trouble parsing all of this out. The end goal, of course, is that the two of you forge a closer bond thanks to this trust exercise. Not necessarily a romantic relationship, but certainly one based in friendship. And she requires that I think there's a time frame of about 3 months that you will be required to look after this object or take responsibility of this item for her. And no, it's not much of an imposition at all, actually. That's not the point. The point is that it should be no burden for you at all to uphold this responsibility for her, but that for her, it's very deeply meaningful. Alright, Gemini, and now I'm going to take your questions and put them into my book. When thou understandest thoroughly the grounds of thy suit, proceed justly, and in the end thou wilt triumph. So understanding the parameters of this situation will bring you the potential for success. Gemini, thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this reading, please let me know down below. Like, comment, or both. And I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Hello, Cancer. Welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. This video will be for Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, and any other Cancer placements that you're curious about for the week ahead. Sorry, there's some hairs. Picking hairs off my mic. Cancer, somewhat of a redux is going on for you at this time. That everything is going to shift slightly to the left, and that certain things that were once on the top are going to be shifted down into the lower layers in a transitional way. So I don't know if this has to do with job responsibilities or things within a relationship or your diet, your exercise, your routines. It could have to do with any of those things. But over the week ahead, expect to see some movement as far as these things are concerned. And I do think it has to do with the current Mercury in Virgo placement. Now, I'm not entirely sure why this would be specific to you, Cancer. Virgo would be sextile to Cancer. So it's possible that you have a natal placement in Cancer that is forming a sextile to this Mercury in Virgo. But I wouldn't know that unless I was looking at your chart. However, I can tell you that the Mercury in Virgo placement and also the Venus in Libra placement, which is going to be square, which is going to be square to the sign of Cancer. Both of these are part of this reconfiguring process over the week ahead. They don't want you to know about the outcome. So, if you are trying too hard to look at this in the framework of what the possible outcome is, you might miss important steps along the way. That the goal is more geared towards this compression and reorganization process than it is geared towards the end goal itself. That the growth and the experience are also a big part of this change. Parts of it might be uncomfortable, but I think that overall it is going to be a positive change for you and a fairly comfortable one, in that there's not anything that's going to be making sudden movements that are vast. This is going to be tweaking and refining and honing these little processes in order to get to the higher state that you are seeking to achieve. And that is going to look different for each and every one of you. And now I'm going to take your questions, put them inside my book. I was just thinking I should have bought that Roger Dean art book while I had the chance. It was at a comic book shop up in Santa Barbara. But it's okay that I didn't. I don't need to own every single thing that I think is really cool. The stranger will return at the time thou expectest him. This could be related to this change. Cancer. Thank you so much for joining me for this reading. If you enjoyed it, please let me know down below. You can like or comment if you see fit. And I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Hello, Leo. Leo. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. This video will be for Leo's sun, moon, rising, and any other Leo placements you might be curious about for the week ahead. I think all of the planets, including the sun, have moved out of Leo this week. The space is very vast. There's a lot there. Planets beyond our comprehension. Back in the 1980s, there was a certain aesthetic connected to space, and especially distant planets that had a lot of neon colors and a lot of black. I see like a planet's surface, but depicted as though it were a velvet blacklight poster. Very aesthetic, very aesthetic, very aesthetic. Not vaporwave, but very much a time and a place. I'm seeing this distant place because there is going to be for you a shift into this time and place. Now, for some of you, it might very well be the surface of a distant planet, depicted as though it were a velvet blacklight poster. But the idea is that this is a very distant place to where you are right now. That there is a departure of worlds, but the transition is going to be very soft. It's going to be very much like dropping off into sleep. It's going to be like rubbing your eyes, and as your vision focuses, you find yourself in an entirely different place. This place, all of the colors are dialed up, and the aesthetic qualities of this particular situation have been very refined, such that the presentation is unified, and it will awaken within you a very warm feeling of belonging and of feeling like you have arrived at the place where you belong. There might also be aspects of it which remind you very strongly of early childhood memories. Those kinds of memories that you don't have a complete grasp on the entirety of a situation. You only remember little fragments, little details of the whole. And that there, within those details, combined with the aesthetic presentation of this new situation, you realize this is where you have been headed your whole life. Alright, Leo, I will be collecting your questions now. Kindly direct them to me and to the cover of this book. Cheer thy heart, prosperity will soon attend thee. Leo, thank you so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this reading, please let me know down in the comments or by liking this video. Both if you see fit. And I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Virgo, welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. This video will be for Virgo, Sun, moon, rising, and any other placements you are curious about for the week ahead. Virgo, I apologize that I never filled out your permission slip. It's very silly, right? It's a very silly thing for me to say to you, Virgo. Because why would you need my permission for this? I think that you have been waiting patiently for someone to come by and fill out the appropriate forms for you to go on a trip or to move forward with your life. But you don't necessarily need that permission. There might be a situation in your life right now where you're putting too much emphasis on cutting through red tape and not enough emphasis on the substance of what this journey means to you. If it's raining outside and you've forgotten your umbrella, are you going to allow the water to stream down your body, or are you going to use some other item to shield you from the falling water? Would you take the newspaper abandoned on the bus seat to hold opened over your head to keep water from falling on you? Or would you consider that ill-conceived, that someone else's enjoyment of reading that sports section supersedes your need to be drier? Not that you will be dry. You might not have been dry anyway. It's very difficult for an umbrella to shield your feet also. Only that holding this newspaper over your head might keep you more dry than going out into the rain unshielded. And would you ask permission, although the newspaper was abandoned, for its use? Virgo, now I'm going to take your questions and put them into my book of answers, and perhaps gain some more clarity and insight that way. as the sun steadily pursueth his glorious course in the heavens, so will thy beloved remain constant in her vows. As surely as the sun will rise in the morning, certain things, such as true love, will not be contested. Virgo, thank you for joining me. If you enjoyed your reading this week, please let me know down below. You might like this video or comment, or you might choose to do both. And I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Libra, welcome back. Welcome back, Libra, 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 Libra. This is for Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, and any other Libra placements about which you are curious for the week ahead. Libra, did you take credit for what you did? Or did you just allow others to appreciate the work that was done without bringing to light your own involvement in it? I think in this case it's possible that not only did you not take credit for work that you did, but you might have tried to shift, I'm hearing shift the blame to someone else, but I'm seeing this as being work that was done that people were very grateful for, not as something that you did that was a problem. That you might have said something to the effect that someone else had done it as an accident, possibly, and that not only was that not their intention to have this turn out being something good, but that their carelessness and lack of respect for the situation caused a big problem for everyone. I'm not sure why this is so important to you, Libra, and that you wouldn't have just taken credit for a job well done. But it seems as though there are mitigating interpersonal issues, not just with this other person, but I feel like there's an environment that is promoting this kind of behavior, and your intention is to bring attention to the issue, and that your way of doing that is to call them out when you are brought into the spotlight. There is such a thing not only as a sore loser, but also a sore winner. A sore winner, sore winner. Sour grapes. It's perfectly valid to bring attention to systemic issues. But when you are being lauded for your own hard work in a situation, people are not in the mental capacity to hear criticism. Whether that is criticism for their own behavior or criticism for the behavior of another person. That kind of... I'm hearing enmity, but that's not really the entire context, is it? It's better that you schedule a meeting with your supervisors to bring this up, or schedule a different occasion in which these issues can be brought up, that they might receive the proper attention. By saying these things when you do say them, you are only serving to show people a side of yourself as being ungrateful, whether or not that is the case. And even though you know that their memories are short, and that in order to gain attention for this issue, you feel like you need to bring it up at the very moment. Objectively speaking, that is not the best time to bring attention to this issue, but rather allow some time to pass, that people might not even be thinking about that situation in the context of what you did overall. Draw attention to it as a different situation. Maybe wait a day, or pull a supervisor aside and say, hey, I'd really like to talk to you about something that was an issue for me, but I don't want to sound ungrateful. I'm very grateful for the praise that you have given me regarding the task that I did. And now I'm going to take your questions, Libra, and put them into my book so I can answer them. Neglect not the opportunities which may be offered to thee, for they will lead to great preferment. Great preferment, great preferment. If someone offers you something, you should accept. Libra, thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this reading, please let me know. You might like this video, you might comment, you might choose to do both. And I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Hello, Scorpio. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. This will be for Scorpio Sun, Moon, Rising, and any other placements you are curious about for the week ahead. Scorpio, I don't know if you did this intentionally or if it was just a byproduct of the symbolism with which you have surrounded yourself as of late. But you have completed an entire ritual without intending to. The gist of this is, of course, that when you are putting so much effort into cultivating your surroundings, what you're actually doing is spell work. It's a ritual for your success. A ritual for your success. Or it's possibly a ritual for mutual destruction. But that would have to be your intention to begin with. The target of this spell has no idea what it is that you are planning here. That has advantages and it has disadvantages. If this person is aware of what you are doing and they agree with your purposes, they can aid in your long-term success in the project. But if this person does not understand your motivations, it's less likely that their movement will be in concert to yours. So consider this week enlightening and elucidating this process to your support group, that they might better be able to provide you with the help that could push you forward and through any blockages which you come up against. I know that's rather short, but I think that's all I have to say this week. So if you have any additional questions, then direct them here, and I will put them into my book and provide you the answer. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Play no games of hazard. That's things like the lottery, or inferring too much in your interactions with others. Scorpio, thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed your reading, please let me know down below. You might choose to like this video. You might leave me a comment. or you might do both. I do look forward to seeing you again very soon. Sagittarius, 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 Sagittarius. Welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back. Sagittarius, this will be for Sun, Moon, Rising, and any other Sagittarius placements about which you are curious for the week ahead. I didn't give you a cookie, so how did you get the cookie? Someone is taking too much responsibility for your habits. One thing that I've discovered over the years, especially in regards to romantic partnerships, is that their sobriety or diet or exercise are not your responsibility. Any attempt that you make to institute any kind of order in those situations is only going to drive a wedge between you and lead to resentment. And this might be the case with your partner or with a friend. This is certainly not the same as enabling someone, which would be providing them with the resources by which to backslide in any habits they are trying to correct. For example, buying packages of Chips Ahoy cookies when someone has made it very clear to you that they are trying to lose weight, or rather go on a diet, or eat more healthfully. But there might be somebody in your life who feels like they have a responsibility to control you in some regard. This doesn't necessarily have to do with sobriety or a diet or some kind of exercise regime. I use these things merely as examples because this is a general crystal scrying reading and it will be different for everyone. You need to set healthy boundaries with this person and help them understand that what they're doing right now is very counterproductive for both of you. It's important that they understand that you appreciate their place in your life, but that this is not a natural extension of that connection, and is in fact creating animosity between you. Alright, Sagittarius, I will take your questions now. this marriage will add to your welfare and happiness, and also make diligent inquiries amongst the members of the house. So, whomever this partnership is with, where these issues are coming up, there is a lot of good in this relationship, and they do want the best for you. Making diligent inquiries amongst the members of the house. Make sure that everyone involved is on the same page. Sagittarius, thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this reading, please let me know down below. You might choose to like or comment or both on this video. And I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Capricorn, welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. This is for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, or, any other Capricorn placements about which you are curious for the week ahead. There's that movie, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. I don't remember all of the intricacies exactly, so correct me if I'm wrong. But I think this movie is about this memory erasure service, in which you can have past relationships scrubbed from your psyche. And during this process, all of these memories are reevaluated by the conscious mind. All of these memories are brought up from the subconscious into the cognitive level and reevaluated one by one. Now, I also don't remember if the guy keeps doing this and then keeps getting into the same relationship with the same person. I never did really get that clearly. In some ways, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is the opposite of the movie Total Recall, in which memories of a fantastical vacation are implanted in the mind of the subject. It's very tricky when you deal with these things like memory. I have a lot of things stored away in my memory banks that I'm not entirely certain if they are true or not. It's like having tax paperwork or filed away documentation. How much of it is still valid? How much of it is necessary? How much of it is even real? I don't think that you are going to be evaluating these things in the week ahead, Capricorn. But I do think that a memory is going to come to the surface for you. It might be very disturbing. It might might be very happy. It might hit you like a wave when you smell something like a particular kind of sunshine. That you smell something and it brings back this very vivid memory. And you have to decide, is this something that actually happened or is it not? Capricorns are very practical people. And for you to entertain a false memory, it would have to be very deeply implanted by some source. Not necessarily that you would have invented this and turned it into a memory. But what if you were studying for a play, and in the process of getting into this character, you implant the memory that this character had, and it becomes real to you. 20, 30, even 50 years later, would you be able to tell the difference? And now I will be taking questions, and if you would just send them gently toward the cover of this book, and I will put them in here for evaluation. Consider whether the object of thy affections doth deserve thy love. That can be a false memory, too. Capricorn, thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this reading, please let me know down below. You might choose to like or comment, or possibly both. And I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Aquarius, 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 Aquarius. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Thank you for joining me. This will be for Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and any other Aquarius placements which you are curious about for the week ahead. Aquarius, I see the moon rising overhead. The sky is gradually darkening and the moon is getting higher in the sky. And as this happens, you feel a wave of dread washing over you. It's as though you are stranded. I'm seeing very specifically in my mind's eye this stretch of the I-10 highway. No, it's not the I-10. I don't think. It is from San Diego, not from Los Angeles, and it goes along the border. It kind of skirts the border that you can see the lights in Mexico from the cities. But on the United States side, of this particular stretch. It's very dark and very desert-like. In fact, it is a desert. There's sand. There are rest stops, but they are very desolate. They don't even have running water. It's like latrine rest stops along this stretch of highway. And it would not be a good area in which to be stranded. There is very much a feeling of hopelessness in this feeling, but also a sense of peace and acceptance of one's fate, and that whatever will come, will come. I also feel the understanding that when the sun rises, that the temperature is going to also rise and get very hot. Very hot, very hot, very hot. Aquarius, this week I'm not entirely certain what kind of corner you have backed yourself into. This does seem like a very dire and unpredictable situation that has come to pass. I don't get the sense either that there were particular actions on your own part leading to this outcome. I don't know that you even necessarily were the one to transport yourself to this location. That there might have been other factors involved, that you ended up here and then were left. And this is not the end of the road for you, Aquarius. Something very miraculous is going to happen. Even if that means that you find yourself transformed into a lizard. Transformed into a lizard. Or find out that you are the son of the sun and are transported up into the sky to be with your father, that you might be raised in the ways of the universe. These things are possible. Keep an open mind and don't lose your cool. Aquarius, I will be taking questions at this time. So present them and I will put them into my book for processing. The companion of thy travels will be unto thee a shield against every danger. Aquarius, thank you for joining me. If you enjoyed this reading, please let me know down below. You might choose to like this video or comment your experiences, or possibly both, all of which are greatly appreciated. and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Pisces, welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. This is for Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, and any other Pisces placements you are curious about for the week ahead. Pisces, I am not sure how many of you are aware of this, but apples, and I'm sure other fruit, are grown this way also. Apple branches are grafted onto trees to grow different varieties of apples, because the trees which produce the most delicious fruit might not necessarily be the most robust or the best at providing nutrition to form these fruits. The agricultural knowledge involved in creating the food that we eat does extend into genetic modification, but the kind of genetic modification that is specifically problematic has to do with patents held by a company called Monsanto and other companies like it that patent these genes and then prosecute legally anyone found planting these crops without the proper licensure through Monsanto. And that is incredibly problematic because plants grow wherever they want to grow and not where they've been given permission. I feel like there is another situation in your life right now where you understand that something is problematic, but unpacking why it's problematic and why it is different from the situations that other people are in is going to be the key. Because another form of genetic modification also occurs over many years when the corn crops are bred for specific traits and then become a staple in Native American societies. Many of the plants that we purchase at the grocery store did not start out looking like they do. In fact, for a long time it was thought that tomatoes were poisonous because they're in the same family as the deadly nightshade. But while the deadly nightshade might be very toxic, although not without its own uses, tomatoes are a wonderful source of things like lycopene and vitamin C, and I think even calcium. You wouldn't want to cut something like that out of your diet haphazardly without understanding why. If you are allergic to tomatoes or any of the compounds in tomatoes, obviously you're not going to want to eat them. good example is gluten, that has been demonized, vastly demonized, although it's really only harmful to people who have celiac or other gluten intolerances. Gluten is actually a protein and is what gives bread dough its elastic qualities. The elastic qualities. You can even rinse all of the starches out of wheat flour to make seitan, which is only gluten. Gluten is what makes sticky rice sticky. And it is a protein. It is not a carbohydrate. So if you are avoiding carbs, just admit that you're avoiding carbs. And that is my fortune for you this week, Pisces. If you are avoiding something, or inversely allowing something else into your life, make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. And now I will be taking questions and putting them into my book. It saith, let not the next opportunity escape of advancing thy fortune. Thank you for joining me, Pisces. If you enjoyed this reading, please let me know down below, whether that is by liking, commenting, or both. All are much appreciated. And I look forward to seeing you again very soon.